Hello. Today I'm going to show you all how to create a advanced function. So in front of you right now, you're seeing a regular function on PowerShell ISE. You could follow along on a Windows PowerShell command terminal directly. I'm just using the ISE for educational purposes. So in front of you, you have a function called complex user. It has two parameters, name, hobby, and we're displaying some type of output. So if this seems kind of alien to you, I recommend checking out my other lessons. But other than that, I'm just gonna run this real quick and show you what the output is. So we run this, we should see Alice in the parameter name and football as hobby. And we have that. So now what I'm gonna do next is show you what differentiates a complex function to a simple function. So the way we're going to do that is by typing in this command here. So we're going to do get command name get service. We're just going to use this as an example right here. And I forgot to actually add my parentheses, so be sure you do that. Okay. Now I'm going to type in dot parameter key parameters dot key. Okay. And then when we run this, we're going to see a list of output right here. So we're going to run this. And this is what is going to differentiate a complex function from a regular function. So right here, you see that we have different types of parameters. You have computer name, dependent service, display name, variables, debug, error action, warning action. And okay, so now let's examine a simple function, and we're going to be writing almost the same command. We're going to use get dash command dash name. This time we're going to be typing complex user. Complex user is the name of the function that we have. Okay. And then dot parameters dot keys, right? So this is going to be might be a little bit hard to see. Actually, I'll just clear this up for you. Okay, so now when we run this line, we see that we have two parameters. And these two parameters belong to our function complex user. So we have name and we have hobby, and that's exactly what we see. So unlike the other command where we saw multiple different parameters such as variables, debug, our function complex user is relatively simple because it only has two parameters, right? So now we're actually going to create a complex function. So let's do that. So to save some time, I'm actually just going to copy and paste the function complex user. And that's what I'm going to do here. And then the thing that we're going to be adding is cmdlet binding. Make sure that you type it correctly. And then we're going to have opening and closing parentheses here. Make sure they're in the square brackets, by the way. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna run this real quick. Complex user, and you're gonna see that we have access to variables right here, right? Okay, but when we run this, we're gonna notice that nothing's gonna happen. Well, let's run this real quick. And you see that we don't get an error or anything. We have name and we have hobby. Everything works perfectly. Okay, but variables isn't responding or anything like that. So now let's actually have variables respond to us. So underneath parameters we're gonna type in write variables. So now every time that we call variables or we use this keyword variables, it's gonna output something. So right here I'm just gonna type in start script. Right. So now when I run this command here, actually run it like that. You see that, let me clear this up again. Okay. And here we go. Now you see we have variables actually displaying some output when we use that keyword. So now what I'm just gonna do now is just simply complete the parameters for the function. So we're gonna have a name to it, and I'm gonna put John, and then John's hobby will be programming. Okay. So when we display this, we should have our variables. We should have a name. We should see hobby, and then after that, we're just gonna finish up the video and move on to the next lesson. So let's run this. All right, and here we go. And you see that we have variables, start script, name John, hobby programming. So this is what differentiates a complex function from a simple function. You have more access to different types such as variables, debug, computer name, etc. If you have any questions, just leave them in the comment section. If not, I'll see you in the next video.